went from being this playful, happy, energetic 5-year-old to this bloated, feverish, sick kid. The doctors had no answers. I was on deathbed. Finally, after testing me for numerous diseases, even rare ones that only exist in other countries, the doctors came back and they diagnosed me with full-blown AIDS. I wasn't at risk for HIV, so how did I contract AIDS? My father, who was a phlebotomist, he was a blood doctor, stole HIV tainted blood from his workplace. He intentionally injected me when I was 11 months old, hoping that I would die off and he wouldn't have to pay child support. And that week I was in the hospital for an asthma attack. My mother tried to get a hold of him and nothing. I was just about ready to be chucked out of a hospital. And he made a surprise visit. And the reason why I say surprise visit is because he wasn't always a very active or welcoming father. So the day we were supposed to be checked out, my mom was tired, hungry. She just wanted something to drink while she was waiting for the discharge papers. And my father just appears out of nowhere, not wanting to fight with him. She just asked, "Hey, can you go get me something to drink from the cafeteria?" And he said, "No, I'll stay here and watch your kid while you go get something to drink." And that's how he referred to me, as I was always somebody else's kid. I was never his kid. So in this moment, my mom left the room. This is where they pinpointed that he took out the stolen HIV tainted blood and intentionally injected me in a previous IV site. So every week there was a new symptom. My mother is literally carrying me in her arms to every doctor's appointment, to every ER visit, begging the doctors to find out why I was appearing near death. And so my health just started degrading and degrading. There's times I couldn't breathe. There's times that my body was just getting swollen up. I was just blacking out. And yeah, everybody started with, 20,000 different things, but everything came back negative until my mom had a nightmare and basically said, "What if it's HIV? I know this is crazy, but what if it's HIV?" And that's when I was finally tested for the HIV virus. The way they discovered that my father was guilty of intentionally injecting me with HIV is when I became diagnosed. A whole investigation was launched and they were trying to find means and motive. And basically everybody in my family was tested for HIV. Everybody was ruled out. And so they looked at the piece of who had access to your blood and who would do such thing to me. Started investigating him, and he's the one who had access. Like, he worked in a laboratory. His motive was he didn't want to pay child support. My father is serving a life sentence in prison for his actions. I do not have a relationship with him, and I do hope that he is continued to be held accountable for what he has done to me.
Injecting your own son with the H virus, you've reached new highs. You're in a class now by yourself. I believe that when God finally calls you, you're going to burn in hell for eternity. But in the meantime, I have the opportunity to keep you. So it is the order, judgment, and sentence of this court that you be confined in the Missouri Department of Corrections for the rest of your natural life.
Every parole hearing he's had, I went and spoke at that parole hearing in hopes that he continues to pay the price for what he has did. Because I said I forgave him, but forgiveness doesn't mean letting somebody off the hook, and forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to forget. My mother was always completely honest with me. I knew my dad did something bad, but finally, when it clicked, when I was like 12, 13 years old, my dad is responsible for my pain and suffering. He is the one who intentionally injected me with HIV. Yeah, that blew me away. When I was first diagnosed with HIV, a lot of medications weren't available for kids with HIV at the time, and so I was on different experimental drugs and different drugs that were only approved for adults. Unfortunately, one of the medications I was on that was for an opportunistic infection that didn't even work actually did more damage than you could possibly imagine. I am legally deaf, and that medication made me lose my hearing, and we didn't catch it in time to stop it. As a kid growing up, being HIV positive, being hearing impaired, I also wore glasses. So if you can imagine, I was just this 4-eyed little boy with the ears sticking out from wearing hearing aids. I was always a small one because I was having liver complication. I did kind of have like a beer belly. Man, kids are so nice that they will find anything that is wrong with you and be quick to point it out. I was called like names like AIDS boy, gay boy, freak when I was in 7th grade. The verbal abuse that I experienced at school started to become physical abuse. I was getting shoved into lockers. I was getting my books thrown around, but there was no adults around that were ever helping me because they looked at me like I was the problem. When it comes to HIV, there's a lot of misconceptions that like somebody may be gay, but HIV is a disease, not a lifestyle. And so I've been straight, but been told that I was not straight. And when I finally am dating girls, the parents thought that I could give HIV to their daughter through kissing. I could give HIV to their daughter just by being in their house. It was always parents interjecting themselves into a relationship and saying, I think you're gonna kill my daughter. I think that you're not a good fit for my daughter because you're unhealthy. And sadly, those relationships have ended and didn't go anywhere. Once I forgave my father, a huge weight just lifted off my shoulders, and next thing you know, my doctors are calling me and saying, hey, you're undetectable. And so when you become undetectable, it gives you a 0% chance of passing on the virus. And that is an amazing breakthrough. So that brings hope to me that someday when I meet my wife, we are gonna be able to have kids, that I don't have to worry about passing it on to her. Hope is not just like waving a wand and boom, everything's okay. Everything that we go through takes practice, and it just takes time to love yourself well and to treat yourself with the love that you need in order to understand like you have value and you matter.
I am seen. Are you?